Hello again, everybody. Okay, so this morning we looked into translations. Hey, Clonk, hey, Lee, hey, Arlens. What was for lunch? I had a chicken salad sandwich and an apple. Um, yeah, we're gonna look into how to get this workflow up and running. And the basic plan here is use AI for translations and then lean on the community afterward to edit them a bit. But we still need to figure out how we're going to set up the pipeline for all this stuff. Thank you, Clonk. I appreciate it. Yeah, vacation was really good. And I'm feeling ready to work again. Hope everyone had a good time without me. Okay, so where did we leave off here? Yeah, test out add comments. So what I wanted to figure out is, given this file that has all of the message IDs in English for something, is there a way that we could have it add in something like, this is the name of the stun ability, or something like this? Could we get this to be in this file automatically, I wonder? Hey, Sinistelle. Hey, you redeemed it earlier than Chef Halton redeemed first in the morning stream today. And I think add comments is how we would do this, and I just need to look at this because I don't know how this works. All right, let's see. Let's go to, I guess let's go to basic stun attack. There's no comment here. If I put a comment, testeroni, and wait, where does, yeah. And let's put another comment here. How do we do this? This is a test. Okay, let's try both of those and just see what happens. And then how do we run this? Yeah, .NET run project. Oh. Okay, let's try that. Oh, Leap Year Girl, thanks for gifting that sub. Welcome, Arlen. You're the newest sub now. And howdy, Leap Year Girl. Happy afternoon for me. Hey, by the way, when does daylight saving time hit most of Europe? When is DST Europe? Oh, wait, it ended before ours? What? When is DST US? Ours starts earlier and ends later? I didn't realize that's how that worked. Yeah, 1 week ahead. Okay. So then now we're on the same time difference we were on before my vacation. So it's seemingly like the stream is at the same time it always was. I made an advertisement in Discord about, hey, I'm going to be starting in like 90 minutes because I thought people would be confused. But turns out there was no confusion. It's me who's confused. Oh, cool. The comment does show up here. And so does this is a test. Interesting. And we could have a tag, although it doesn't explain how the tag works, does it? Place comments starting with tag. So I want to try that now. Yeah, I'm very curious about this stuff. So if we say add comments equals I18N, then any comment that starts with this will now be in that file, but this one won't be. And now I run that. I mean, at least it's fast. Interesting. It put it, that's weird, right? Put the comment there twice. What? I don't understand that. If I delete this file, it should be exactly the same output, right? Because it's just regenerating it every time. No, it does not. Okay. This is very weird. So if you regenerate the file in place, it produces different output. Or wait, maybe it keeps whatever comments are there. Like if I do something like this, this is a test. Or like I manually wrote this comment and now I run this again. Does it keep the manual comment? It does, but then it added this. So I guess I have to delete this one. Oh, interesting. Okay. So if you want to add any comments manually, you can put them above, which is why it kept my old comment there, because it treated it as just any other comment that you might have written there. Very interesting. I feel like I should write this down somewhere. Hmm. So what is this called? Add comments? Hey, Athletics. Yeah, lunch was good. You know, every once in a while, I turn the heat on and it doesn't actually start in like any reasonable amount of time. And I can't figure out why that happens. We have a single thermostat. It's not like a smart app or anything. And I turn up the temperature to try to get the heat to turn on and it just doesn't do anything. And I tried like power cycling it and anyway, so lunch was good, but I was like huddled up shivering for a lot of it because I turned the heat off earlier today and only this room was warm enough. I also won't need to because of the lack of ads. Well, you never know. Maybe I'll mumble everything that I say and then you'll never know what I'm saying and you rewind and see what's then. How'll that be? All right, so comments. Comments in .pot files. First of all, what is the .pot file here? Each locale is defined in its own file that follows a common template. What are the .po files then? You generate them from this? I'm a little confused. PO pot. Text-based localization that contain actual translations. Oh, okay. So what is the P and O for? I'm assuming T is for template. But what does this stand for? POT. Portable object template. Oh, okay. All right, I should probably write that down somewhere. Yeah, I'll just write this here. Note .po files are contain actual translations, whereas .pot files are just templates. PO stands for portable object, and the T in POT is for template. Hey again, Galaxy Inferno. Had a productive volunteer meeting during your last stream/lunch. Ready for evening entertainment now. I am also ready for evening entertainment. I hope the volunteer meeting went well. I've been trying to figure out what's the workflow we can use for localization, well, translation mostly. And we're just identifying some easy things right now. But eventually we need to find a way. What I'd like to be able to do is something like this. Like I run some script, run all translations, whatever shell script, and I say something like French. And it just goes and does everything for me. That would be great. I don't know if that's possible. And yeah, that's what we got to figure out. Hey, player. Who's the better Adam? First daily stream Adam or second daily stream Adam? You know, I'm not sure, but I imagine it's first daily stream Adam. Hey again, Joss. Yeah, the question of commercial use. Yeah, and I think that'll be fine. I'm not certain how all these pieces are going to fit together or how they're all needed even. Hey, Corpsey. Hey, Shuffleton. Just call the AI endpoint in the script. Yeah, so that's one piece of it. But we need to call it on every string that hasn't changed. So we need some kind of like change tracking. Because I don't want to, like basic attack, for example, this doesn't even show in the game, but let's say it did. I don't want to call every single time I run the script for like, oh, generate the newest French translations. I don't want to call it on everything that already has a translation. So we need to only do it for things that don't have a message, but it might have had a message that was old, so we need to know that it changed. And then what if we have comments that are needed to feed to a human or something? Or what if a human overrode the machine translation? So it's that stuff I'm trying to think about. Anyway, this thing about comments. So comments in .pot files. So here's an example. Wait a second. Doesn't this generate the .po file then too? It does. When did Skeleseller get a Twitch badge? Only I'd gotten that one. Save it in a local database. Yeah, I might do that, and we might use comments for this. Like we might be able to say this was last modified on a particular date, and we figure things out from that. I'm not totally sure yet. There are solutions. I'm so early on in this endeavor. I'm not totally sure what's best. So here's an example of a single string template in a .pot file. Do you take volunteers? Sounds like a cool project with a bit of data handling. Probably not. Probably not going to take volunteers. But if I get like totally stuck or something, then maybe. I think a lot will be clearer in the next couple days, and especially when I start to look into Azure. Sounds like two scripts to me. First one to update the translation files and mark the change ones, and one to make the translations. Yeah. Yeah. I think anything, there's definitely going to be some manual piece of this, like any manual translations that are done. Anyway, I've still got to look into this stuff. So in this case, we have I18N here. This is only going to include comments that have that. So this is a test, never shows up in here. This is a test. Yeah, okay, interesting. This was generated with this string. Oops. Which is why it captured a comment above the basic comment for in the source C# code. Okay, the source C# code is here. I guess I should just copy both of these. Okay. However, the comment for floating text is not captured because it doesn't start with the I18N tag specified in -- add comments. So we copy this now. Humble Bundle in my book came out. Oh, yeah. Congrats on that. I saw your message. Yeah. Guys who made the Humble Bundle left me with their last email saying, I'll let you know when it's up. Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame when that happens. I'm currently in possibly a similar situation. I mentioned a while ago that I was trying to make music in FL Studio, and I have a plugin, and there's a bug in that plugin, and I contacted the creators of it, and they said, we'll let you know when we fix this. Well, it's been a couple of months, I think, and I haven't heard back from them. So I want to test it again to see if they fixed it and just didn't let me know. I mean, either way, at this point, I'm a little bit annoyed because it's been a couple months, and as far as I know, the fix hasn't existed, and I really want to finish making some music for the game. Yeah, you did post about it in Discord with pretty much the same details too, but it's fine. Okay, so this should go here. This was generated. Okay, so how about this? So suppose we have this C# code. and we generate translation files using this command. Oh, I already had that on my clipboard. We can end up with a, I guess, this .pop file. So as you can see, it only captured the testeroni comment because it started with the I18N tag from add comments. Can also see that it has a manually written comment there. I typed that directly into the pop file. So if you're ever generating from scratch, that comment would be lost. So you need to treat this almost like it is a database, or have some way of adding it back in. I guess, why would you ever manually write a comment in here and not in the source file? I don't have an answer for that. I guess if you didn't have access to the source file, maybe a translator writes it in, but I should just add that into the code, right? I guess the other thing is you might not be able to put in multiple lines of comments. So what if I change this to be something like, this is a new comment, and then I run this again? It's going to end up with, yeah, the testeroni one there too, which is kind of a problem, right? If I were to change this is important. If you were to delete the testeroni comment from the source code, it would still end up in the pot file because it can't tell the difference between a manually typed comment and one from the source. Right, I'm nearly positive that's the case. So if I just delete this altogether, it's still going to put the comment there. Yeah. Oh, but now the line number changes. Oh my God. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Yeah, I definitely don't like this. I don't think you should manually type comments in. I think we should just delete the file every time. Because now it thinks it's on two separate lines here. Although that part doesn't make a lot of sense, right? So if I were to do this, I type some like random text here, and then I run this again, what happens? Yeah, now it has 50, 51, and 52 on here. And if I were to delete a bunch of this from here, now it's going to have some much smaller number there. Yeah. Oh boy. Hang on 1 second. Andy, come over. Hi. She's like meowing just outside the door. Abby, you want to come over? Come on. Good cat. I don't know why she didn't just come in. She knows how to poke her head in here. Hi, you want to sit down? Yeah? Okay. Hi. Hi, Catso. Oh, what a good cat. Okay. Come on. Come, sit. We'll learn translations together. I can translate into Catonese. Good, Catso. Okay. I'm waiting for her to just sit down. Now I can type again. Come on. Do they sell their pirate language? I'm not sure. Yeah. I was talking about that earlier today, though. Meow, 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 meow. Wow, you speak fluent cat. Okay. Sit your little butt down. Good Catso. Oh, she's not going to sit. She's rubbing her face against my hand. Okay, fine. I'll pet you some more. I log in and there's a cat. There is a cat. She likes her. Oh, she likes her little ears being rubbed. They're chilly, Abby. Where have you been sitting? Okay, will you sit down now so I can use the mouse? Awesome colors on that cat. I agree. I think this cat's a very pretty cat. But please sit down so I can code cat. So come. She's like, but then I won't get attention. You will. You will get attention. Come on, stop interrupting the stream. Good cat. Does the pitiful human provide lots of treats? Yeah, the real streamer is shown up. Okay, good. There we go. Yeah, so what I think this means is we need to regenerate this file every single time. I think this means we should regenerate the files from scratch every time. It will also add another entry. After deleting lines in the file and calling generate again. Oh, good. She's sitting down. Open this. This is going to get too hot too fast. If I can reach... I can't disturb the cat. I can't actually turn my body. It's so hard to take off a sweatshirt with a cat on your lap. A high back chair. Oh, there's a bunch of dust on here. Journalist who meets a strange lady. She used to be a cat, but ate something bad and changed into a human. Oh, that's a cool story. I like that. Reminds me of Harry Potter, actually. Yeah, maybe it was written by a cat. Okay. The resulting .pot file will look like this, or at least can look like this. There we go. I think this means we should regenerate the files from scratch every time. Yeah, so that only things in the source code are actually going to matter. Otherwise, we end up with stuff like this, and this is pointless. This is absolutely pointless, right? It only exists on one line at any given time, and there's no way to know which line it would have been. So we need to delete these and recreate them. And if we're going to do that, then it means that our translations would be broken. What are you doing, cat? Like trying to swipe at my hand. You're freezing on your vacation next week? Where are you going? Did you already mention this? Okay, so what do we do about regenerating this? Should we use add comments? Where do we manually override a translation? Going to generate .pot files from scratch every time. Oh, yeah. Good old fast. That's right. Yeah, you probably should look up the temperature before traveling. So if we delete this file altogether and recreate it, it's only going to get the newest line number. Bye, cat. So it's a test. Doesn't show up there. Basic stun attack. Yeah, this is it. But this is just a template file. Why don't we have an English file? Huh, why don't we have an English file? Supported locales is only this. Because what? Because we're special casing English, I guess. I'm not totally sure yet, but I think that's what's happening. Yeah, I think that's what's happening. It's pretty funny. Oogly booglies. You want to come sit down again? All right, so I wonder what would happen if we said to generate ENUS. Yeah, I don't know what would happen. Want to sit down? Okay, well, I'm going to type it in ENUS. So it should generate a file for that, right? In a different folder entirely. It did. And inside, all the strings already took on the English that was there. One for scripts and one for scenes. Okay, but what happens with Spanish? Can I delete the Spanish? I guess it doesn't matter if I delete it or not. Yeah, but it's not going to have anything in there. Interesting. Yeah, very interesting. So here's the new Spanish one, and it does not contain any messages. Huh. Okay, I think we need to generate one for English. Wait, no, we don't. What am I talking about? There's no such thing as an English override. I'm writing the strings. I know how to speak English. So one language I do know. Yeah, there should never be a need for an override because I can just modify it myself in the code itself directly. Okay, so then yeah, this is not. There's no reason to do this. Well, there could be, I guess, for British English if I want to spell words the incorrect way, like color or favorite. But I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm going to just force my American English on all of the people who play from the UK. Is there anything else I need to know about that? I should probably write it in our internationalization thing. ENUS. ES. Not an original layover or a final destination. Wow. Yeah. For English, insert random U's into words in your own mind. Hi. You want to sit down? Good cat. She's very indecisive right now. Okay, fine. Okay, so no, we don't make an ENUS language file because it's the source language, meaning there should never need to be overrides for it since Adam speaks English. All right. So if we're going to manually override a translation, we'd put it in one of these files. So how would we know this? What's the Spanish word for... Well, it doesn't matter what a Spanish word for this is. Yeah, we can just write Spanish stun attack. I don't need to know what the actual word is. We just need to be able to identify it. So if I call generate again, it shouldn't do anything to this file, right? Yeah, because it wouldn't know. So then we need some kind of tag to know if this is machine translated or not. So if I type testeroni in here, what happens? It should keep that comment. Oh, it deleted it. Uh-oh. Okay, so that's an issue. We got to figure that out. You can't add a $dot comment to the .po file without it getting deleted when you generate again. How do I need to put some metadata in here. Xget text.po metadata. Using it. Ah, here we go. In some cases, metadata in the header may not be necessary. No, that's not what I want. Don't add a header containing metadata to the output file. No, yeah. Header entry. That's all they talk about here. And it's at the top? It's not at the top. Is it in the POT file? I saw it here somewhere. Oh, maybe this? Automatically generated 2025. Language translation. What adds this? I don't know what adds this. Project ID version, POT creation date, revision date, last translator, language team. I want something like this to be... Oh, maybe we can just put it beneath anything? Let's try it. Where'd my Spanish attack string go? There it is. So can I just do something like this is metadata? No, that would consider it to be part of the message string, right? Yeah, no, that wouldn't work. I don't know how we do this. PO file translation metadata. Ah, here we go. Entry. What else can we do? Oh, maybe we just need a colon after it. Wait, seriously? Header contains meta information about the content in the file. It's marked as the first empty translation entry. Placeholder. Context. Well. MSGCTXT. Sometimes one message needs to be translated differently in different places. Where does this come from, I wonder? Plural? Comments? Comments. Each translation entry may hold additional information about the message defined in the form of contents or comments. There are several types of comments, and each carries a different semantic value. Comment for the translator, comment extracted from the source code, comment that references source code where given message is used, comment that holds flags for get text, and comment that represent previous string key followed by... Well, I don't understand this one. Comment that represents previous string key followed by message ID keyword. Wonder if that's a thing. We don't have that. What's placeholder? Oh, I don't care about that. But I can't put a comment in here without getting deleted, right? Well, I only try to comment with a dot. Maybe I can put one that doesn't have a dot on it. Where's the Spanish thing here? Okay, so we already have the colon accounted for. We know that this one doesn't work. So maybe we try one of these. So now we have 2 extra comments at the top. I'm going to call generate again. Do they get deleted? They don't. So these stick around. So we should put a comment on this. Where is it? Also, for reference information, here's what the different kinds of comments mean. So scroll down to this. Search for on that page. And then click comments. I mean, I guess I could just copy paste this. Cool. Okay, so we could have comments here. Just a pound sign would let us put a comment for the translator. So we can write whatever we want here. Why is there a hyphen? I guess the hyphen doesn't matter. Who creates a program and installer where you can't change your disk? I don't know. Maybe there's some requirement that is on the main drive because it was poorly coded. This cat. Okay, so what I'm thinking we can do here is we could write something like I18N Skell or something like that. Or Skell18N. Kind of like that. You know, that doesn't make any sense. The I18N is internationalization. So the 18 part is this. So Skell18N would be Skell internationalization. Maybe we could say it's 17, Skell internationalization. Anyway, whatever. This is just kind of tongue-in-cheek as it is. But what we could do here is we could say something like machine translated on date. Or something like overridden by human on date. PO is... I already forgot. Yeah, I already forgot. What is it? Portable object in this case. And it's a well-known file, at least for translation stuff. Also, I'm hunched over because the cat is using my arm as a pillow. I'm trying not to wake her. Okay, so then, yeah, I think we can just do something like this. And we have some convention here. So we would do something like this, Skell18N. In fact, we can even put the date right here. And we use some timestamp format. I mean, it could just be UTC milliseconds or something, right? Just as an example, we could just take it from here. I can just copy this. I guess it's not obvious though. What's the ISO format for dates? ISO date time. I just want to see something reasonable here. Date and time in UTC. The time doesn't really matter, does it? Let me think about this. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if the time matters. But if we just want the date, we could just do this. Yeah. We don't need that there. Okay, so this is one piece of the puzzle. The second piece of the puzzle is knowing that the original string changed. So how do we do that part now? I don't think that's going to be easy. Let's close out of that stuff. So we have basic stun attack here. What if I now change this to basic stun attack 2? And I save it. What happens? Before I do that, what do we have here? We have all of this stuff. So the .pot file has this. Let's just copy them both. This is .pot and this is es.po. Now I'm going to run this. And what happens? It made a new entry. Oh, what? It copied my comments over? How could it know how to do that? Because it's the same. Oh, I don't like this at all. Oh, I definitely don't like this. How did that fuzzy get there? What does fuzzy mean in this case? Fuzzy. Get text fuzzy. A fuzzy entry refers to a translation that has been marked for revision. These entries are flagged because they may not be fully accurate or complete. Oh. Oh, interesting. Wow, okay. Oh, that's really interesting. So it put this here, and we're supposed to know that it was copied from this one? And what happened in the pot file? It just has 2 entries now. But no, but I should delete that, right? I should always delete the pot file. So we're going to delete that. And then run this again. And now click over here. Just waiting for it to get generated. There we go. Okay, okay. Yeah, interesting. All right, I think this is workable. So this one's fuzzy because it no longer exists? No. It's fuzzy because it was created from another thing. So you'd have to know what the old thing it was created from is. So Spanish stun attack doesn't exist anywhere else? Uh-oh. Why is it at the bottom like that? Uh-oh. There's a tilde before it. I guess that means it was deleted? There's no tilde on any of these. What is that supposed to mean? Yeah, I think that it was deleted. PO file pound tilde. Can I search for this? Obsolete strings. Look at that. Wow, this is amazing. This is really good. All right, let's copy a link to this one then. Oh, thank goodness. This is all coming together very slowly. Represents an obsolete string. One that doesn't correspond to an ID in the pot file. Okay. And then fuzzy is there when it was changed from an old one. And there's a comma on that. The comma means, yeah, this. Fuzzy comment means, where did we see that explanation? Means that an update was made to the source such that the translation probably needs to be looked at. For example, if you change, what is it, basic stun attack to basic stun attack 2, you'll see, I guess you'll see fuzzy. Yeah, you'll get the fuzzy tag. This means a translator should look at it. Okay, so what are the steps that we're accumulating here? Workflow. So we need to generate .pot and .po files. We already have the generation tool, but we need to make sure to delete the .pot files first, or else they'll keep accumulating source file changes in them. Adding / removing, or I guess like changing the line number of a string, keep accumulating comments. Then at some point we need to look over any obsolete or fuzzy strings, in .po files. So could we do this in an automatic way? Like here, this is obsolete. I guess we don't need to translate it if we know for sure it's obsolete. Obsolete lines are marked with a hash and a tilde if you're certain they're no longer needed. If you're certain they're not needed, you can just delete them. Fuzzy lines are marked like this. May need to be updated. For example, fuzzy will show if the source string changed in English, e.g. renaming fireball to fire blast. Okay, I am not at all comfortable right now. Cat, I'm so sorry. Cat, I need you to get up. Here's a dummy chair. Come on, come up here. Yeah. Good cat. Okay. Let me go turn off the heat too. Okay. It's plenty warm. Evil streamer. I know. I know. I'm like way too hot though now. And my leg was hurting and my shoulder was hurting. She's not a dummy. Sorry, smarty chair. All right, so generate the files. We have the generation tool, so we just have to delete this. Then look over any obsolete or fuzzy strings. Obsolete lines are marked with that. Should probably have the program tell us about this. So these are like changes I have to make. Delete .pot files before generating new ones. And then flag any obsolete or fuzzy strings. If a fuzzy string was never updated by a human, then we can have a machine generate a new one. She has a heated bed. She has a couple of heated surfaces she can go to, actually. So even if the heat were totally off, I think she'd still be fine. Hey, Veshik. Don't know if you came across Libra Translate when looking for a way to automate translation. It's also self-hostable and provides a local API. Only needs a Python environment. I didn't look too much. Let me see what it does. Free and open source machine translation. Can you give this context? It looks like it's just going to be this, right? Translate. I'm guessing they all have all the languages I would want to use. French, German, Italian, Portuguese, Spanish, Chinese, Korean, and Japanese. Yeah. But this is just a straight up translate, right? I can't train this at all. This is a, oh, didn't work. This is a test. Alternatives, interesting. What do I do about context, I wonder? Oh, interesting. I did not know about this. Yeah. A self-hostable tool for direct translations without context or training. Lies on an open source database of translations. Yeah, interesting. Because one of the things, like we have, in English, it's pretty common to have an OK button. You wouldn't write this on a button in French. But I don't know what you would write. OK button in French. Oh, OK in French. Interesting. Yeah. I'm not sure that the thing I'm going to use will do a better job, but that's actually a pretty good test for that too. See how it would translate OK for a button. Yeah. But hey, that's why we're going to have AI at the beginning and hopefully some community driven thing at the end. All right. So what have we come up with so far? We have a way of amending translations. We have a way of commenting what these things are. We could put some context in the code. And actually, that's how we can get message context, which I have not used. Where is it? Yeah, this. Where do we put this though? I don't know where we'd put this. It would go above message ID. But if I put this here and I say something like title screen, it's presumably going to make it into that Spanish file now. Yeah, it did. But how would it have gotten into the template file to begin with? Because I'm going to delete those every time. And then if I delete it from the template file, what happens? So now both of these are considered fuzzy. Now what? Does it consolidate them? It just makes it obsolete. Huh, so we can't use context? I don't like this. I don't like this at all. Yeah. Uh-oh. There is a message context directive that lets you add context like this shows on the title screen. But I'm not sure how we can use it. If we put it in the pot file, it'll get deleted when we should start from a clean slate. So we would have to add it to each .po file. I guess if all you're doing is handing these files over to a translator, then no. Yeah, never mind. Maybe getText has a way of adding in context. CTX context? No. CTag. Join messages with existing file. Wait, maybe that's what's going wrong? It's just the things being passed into the program? Oh man, if that's the case, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, join existing. Oh my God. Okay, I don't think we want that. What does that do? Join messages with existing file. Oh, what else are we using before I keep looking at this? From code is fine, language is fine, add comments is fine. Sort by file, what does that do? Sort output by file location. Oh, that's fine. I don't care about that. Force PO, what does that do? Pattern not found. Write PO file even if empty. Yeah, that's fine too. And then extract all. What does extract all do? Extract all strings. What does it do when you don't specify that? What? Extract all. This is just the man page, right? Yeah, I want the thing that has a little bit more. Extract some. Where's that page that explained what the different things meant on there? I don't have it anymore. Oh, here it is. Extract all. The option has an effect with most languages, like C#. What does that mean? Extract all strings. I don't know. Ask this. What is the extract all option for get text? There is no extract all. Did I type that wrong? Well, I don't believe this. Yeah. Hey, not a hacker. I don't know what this is supposed to mean. I mean, I guess I could try it without this and see what happens. to come across web late may be useful if you have a plan to have the community suggest fixes. Personally, never used it, but the image app I use, Image, has an instance. I did come across it, yeah, and I do have it written down now. I haven't taken too much of a look. We haven't gotten to the community portion of this yet. I'm still just trying to figure out how we're even going to manage these files. And the newest thing I'm trying to figure out is, should I get rid of this? I think it's doing bad things, but I'm not sure. And then this, I don't know what this even does. So maybe what we should do is delete all of these files and try this again without extract all. Actually, let's try it first, like so. All right, so this generates everything. I'm going to copy the output. Why is it not working? There it goes. Okay, so here's the output. So this is the original file. And now we're going to try it again without extract all and then delete this. I want to see what the difference is because I have no idea what that's doing. So now we can, oh, it extracted nothing. I thought it was some versus all, but it's none versus all. Yeah, there's no reason even comparing this. Even if they're not marked for, oh, marked for translation. I wonder how you're supposed to mark something for translation. Specifies additional flags for strings occurring as part of the argth argument. Oh man. Dash dash keyword. Preceding keyword lines. Oh man. Okay, yeah. I didn't know about this. Specify keyword as an additional keyword to be looked for. Without this, the option means to not use default keywords. Oh my goodness. Okay, what is it? Get string, get plural string, get particular string, get particular plural string. This is going to be nuts. Okay, let's read a little bit more about this. Oh man. Keyword spec is a C identifier ID. Xget text looks for strings in the first argument of each call to the function or macro ID. Okay. So this is, if we used a single function for translating everything, this would allow us to get just those. So if I were to call, what did it say? Get string. Yeah, if I call get string, even if this doesn't exist, if I just say like string x equals get string hello world, it's going to find just that right now, right? Yeah, it found that. Oh man, this is crazy. Xget text on its own is already like a tool to be figured out. I should probably write that in here too. How it works. So, oh man. By default, Xget text will search for specific function calls if you pass in dash dash language equals C#. According to this page, is that showing the man page? Keyword. Look for word as an additional keyword. Do not use default keywords. It's a pretty poor man page. This page is pretty good, but I should put a link to this. Oh man. Okay, so we'll search for specific function calls in the source code if you pass in language equals C#. For example, I guess if you do this, what is getString a built-in C# thing? It looks like it is. Man, I'm learning a lot about this, and I still have not pieced anything together just yet. So it says no definition found. It might be in some other library, or I need a using or something here. Is there some like translation generate method? Huh, interesting. I guess that's just a convention then. It's not an actual function you can call. C# get string. Encoding.get string? No, that's not what I would want. Yeah, but so it's just a convention, I think. No, wait, there is resource manager. And this probably has get plural string too. It has get string. I need get particular string, get plural string. Where are those? C# get string, get particular string. I think they're just conventions. Because I don't see anything here. Okay. And this source line. And specify, and well, I should say this source code y equals hard coded. So if I put this into this file here and then run my program, it's only going to generate the same thing it already had. Yeah, hello world. And don't pass in -- extract all. You'll only get this in your .pot file. Source/foo. Thanks, Leap Your Girl, and thanks for your sub and the gifted sub. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Is it from iString localizer? I'm not sure. Let me take a look. Does this have those functions? Searching this page doesn't show them at least, but yeah, they might exist there. Can I see what this interface actually is? Yeah, there it is. Properties. No, it doesn't have get particular string at least. Get string is here, but I don't know where those other ones come from. So we would need some function call for this. You can either specify, oh man, this is going to be, it's going to be a little bit crazy, right? Yeah, it's going to be a little bit crazy. Okay, so let's write down what the problem is right now. Oh man, there's so much to figure out. So join existing. Can I get rid of join existing to make it regenerate the file all the time? And then what do we do about finding only strings we actually want to translate? We probably shouldn't use extract all, but we don't have a single name for translated strings. But they all get converted into a single name, but it's only in the generated code, which I don't think this thing is going to look through, because that would require that it actually builds. What was your original plan for subbing localized strings back in? There was no original plan. Today was the day where I was going to come up with that plan. So yeah, we've come up with a decent amount of it, but there's still more I've got to do. Okay, I have an idea. Yeah, we do use source generators, so I can show what this looks like. We have, whoops, I typed fireball, 2 R's. So this display name, it's actually called as get display name with a source generator. And what that's doing is calling a TRF function. But unless we search generated code, we'll never find this. Like if I change this to TRF, we'll presumably find that. But then I got to go change this to be keyword equals TRF. So now it's presumably going to find this. Is it done? Yeah. So it found this. I guess we should rename it so that it'll actually seemingly work, like Hello World 2. So now that should change to a 2. Yep. And we don't want join existing because that's going to add to the file. So now it gets rid of that. Yeah. I think I do want to get rid of that. Oh man. Okay. So there's no easy way for us to do this. So yeah, if we can't, it's not going to search generated code. Although it could search generated code, right? If I go into Fireball, where does this file exist? No, this isn't actually a file, right? Yeah, it doesn't exist. Okay, well, what if we did something else here? What if we... No, this won't work either because there's no string passed in. There's no hard-coded string. Oh, man. I wonder if we should change our source generator. The only other thing I could think is that we would put some like special thing here. It's searching for function calls, right? Hang on, let me read this again. First argument of each call to the function. If it's of the form id colon argnum, it looks for strings as that number argument to the call. If it's in the form this, it looks for strings in those. The form context argnum, see? There's a special purpose support for GNOME. Huh. Adds an extracted comment used through a normal shell command. This is not what we want. Yeah, this is not what we want. Okay, we got to figure this out. So the problem is all this is based around having function calls like get string hello or I don't know, title message, something like that, or get string adventurer comma 2. And you could tell it exactly where the string is going to be in these cases, but you need to wrap pretty much all of your translator, all of your localized function calls in about 4 different functions that you might have. We don't do that. We leave it to a source generator to make a function that we then call. But we want to localize this bit here. There's probably a way to do this. We have keyword that won't work, but maybe flag will. And if not for flag, is there something else here? There's tag. Defines the behavior of tag template literals with tag word. Only has an effect with JavaScript. Oh, well, that's too bad. Okay, so then what does this do? Specifies additional flags for strings occurring as part of the arth argument of the function word. But there's no function here. Possible flags are the possible format string indicators. Specified function expects an arth argument, a format string. Hmm. Well, we could. Oh man, there's a lot of different things we could do here. We seemingly can't use dash dash keyword or dash dash flag because they both expect functions, and our only function calls are in generated code that xgetText doesn't know about. It's crazy. It's crazy. All right, so what would it take? Option one would be change all of our code so that every localized or every translated string goes through the same like 4 function calls. Is this something that just saves it to disk? Configuration source generator. Emit compiler generated files. Oh boy. Okay. Well, I guess I'll write it down as option 2. Emit our generated code so that xgetText can see it. See this and this. Oh man. What else can we do? Option 3, use extract all and just ignore the extra strings. Option 4, can we use any sort of like an ignore tag or something? No. Oh, copyright holder and stuff. I never filled this in. These are presumably going to be needed, right? I mean, this is very minor. But there's stuff like language team, language, content type, project ID version. Where do you set that information? Package version. Package name. All right, well, I think we got to do that stuff too. I think we should set all of the metadata in the .pot files using directives. Man, my R key is like triple typing now. Like this, I think. So wait a second. There were comments. C format add comments equals translators. Have you thought about not using a source generator? Instead, just simple external files that the game references on the surface feels overly complex for your game? Uh, I mean, I've only briefly thought about it like this, but I've got to think of what that would actually entail and what we're gaining from our source generators right now. Because they're doing a couple of different things. Don't we have TRN? Yeah, here. For text that's added to the scene via code, we can still use localization keys to refer to the strings and pull them from the right locale. We can even use formatting to localize strings based on values calculated at runtime. Good Do objects have access to the TR method or TRN for pluralizable strings. Maybe implement it ourselves, consuming translations from scripts. Godot objects have a native way for fetching translated strings. These work well enough for translating static strings. However, we want to use it to add values inside it. We implement a system that allows us to use named placeholders using an extension method. Oh boy. Yeah, oh boy. Okay. I think I understand. But man, yeah, I think I understand. It does kind of make me think that if we're gonna make the minimal set of changes, that we should just export our generated code. Also, did I ever finish writing this note? You can either specify, I don't know what I was about to write here. Yeah, I don't know. Oh man. What would it take to get rid of our generated code? What is it doing for us? All right, I think what we should go back to for a second, Godot has a way of handling PO files already. And apparently it's even built in the project settings. Yeah. And then what's POT generation? Files with translation strings. This is for scenes, right? Add built-in strings. Remaps? What are remaps? Oh god. All right, Godot localization remaps. Is this like an no. Remaps tab can be used for this. It's also possible to instruct Godot to use alternate versions of assets. Oh, I see. Oh, like if you had yeah, different sound files or something. Okay, I don't need to do that yet. At least I don't think so. We don't have any assets that would be offensive or need to be localized. It's all just sounds and music. Well, and I guess graphics, but the graphics are all going to be the same. Oh, man. All right, well. Let's look at this. Is there a C# thing for this? In addition to importing translations in CSV, it also supports loading them with GNU get text format. Quick get text tutorial. The full process. Set locale. Yeah, I mean, I understand the basics of this stuff now. We've already done this. The thing I'm kind of curious about is how we would do this in Godot and C# if we just were starting from scratch right now. Did they mention mono on here at all? They don't, nor did they mention C#. Godot globalization C#. Is that what they're calling this anyway? They're calling it internationalization. Internationalizing games. They have a working localization system in C#. Perhaps not doing anything too exciting. I don't know what doesn't work for you as an example. Relies on a source CSV file that's importing into Godot via localization translations tab. Can we bundle the MO files? Would we bundle if you add them as translation files in the project settings? And dropping, putting MO files in a translation? This is not helpful. TR function will be available. Isn't there a reason why we can't use this for C# though? Does not have something like this out of the box. Placeholders? Did they mention that? I think they do mention this. Use GDScript format strings or the equivalent feature in C#. It sounds like it has something out of the box for this. Huh. I can't totally tell yet, but it seems like we might have made a misstep here. And it seems like we could just use TR functions and stuff. And we're essentially doing something like this, but we're generating... Okay, I got to figure out why we're doing that. We're generating these names down here in a specific messages class. But why? Localized messages generator? Oh, man. This is gonna be nuts. It seems like we should be able to do what we did and just not generate any code. I'm still not sure what we're gaining with our generated code. Okay, let's delete these things. I understand a good amount about what's going on still. This TRF function, where is this? Calls message.tr. So a string already has this. Public static string. This is an extension method on this. And there's translation server right here. Well, well, well. Yeah, and this is baked into C#, or into Godot, I mean. So why do we generate messages the way we do? Yeah, get. Why do we do this? It's going to call into one of the TR functions, right? Yeah. Oh, I don't know about this. Oh, man. Okay. What we should try to do is we should try to replace something with just direct calls and not use a source generator and just see what that would look like. But before I do any of this stuff, I want to save at least, not this. Probably some of this is going to be needed, but let's save the README because I made some good changes to this. Yeah. I should probably do this in another branch too. Get checkout dash B localization. Improve I18N README. Okay. So yeah, that's the goal now. Can we format strings using without using the source generator? I mean, I think it should be pretty easy. Yeah, I think it should be. Where's an example where we can find this very simply? Like if I revert this and I just run this again, I want to find something in the game that we could just change quickly. Maybe the settings menu. That should be the simplest because you can access it like this and you can change it right here. So what's something that has been modified? This scale. Okay, so game scale. So let's go find that one. Where is that? Oh, but that's in the scene. I wanted something through a script. Probably none of these are through a script, are they? No, but if we load up a game, the archers split shot or something, wild shot. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Wild shot. Is wild shot localized? Yes. So let's try to change wild shot. Oh, and do we have Spanish for it? I guess that's the other question. Probably not. I don't think we... No, we didn't. But it shouldn't be that hard for me to just act like we have it, right? Oh, God. None of this is going to work. Extract all. All right, we got to get back to that state. Now I run this again. Then we go over to our Spanish file. We should have all these things. We look for wild shot. We call it Spanish shot. And then we run the game again. Now load the game. And go look at this. It's wild shot. But the, oh. It already thinks we're in Spanish. And it didn't work. Maybe we're doing something wrong here. Maybe, you know what I need to do? I think I need to include this here. Yeah, add, I don't know where this exists. Assets, resources, I18N, scripts, done. Save, build. Hey, Fash. Could you help me? Which MacBook should I get for programming and which one are you using? So I'm using a Mac Studio. But if you want to get a MacBook specifically, like you want it to be portable, then I think generally what I've seen people buy are the MacBook Pro line. I mean, at that point, it's pretty much just what can you afford? What screen size do you want? And that's about it. I think pretty much any MacBook you buy at this point is going to be very capable, given that they're on their own silicon at this point. But if you specifically want a desktop computer, the Mac Mini is a very affordable computer that I would probably have gotten if it had existed in the same form it does now when I got my Mac Studio. Because the Mac Mini, I think, starts at like 600. The Mac Studio starts at some like crazy amount. It's like 2,000 or something. And it's like, sure, it's got more ports, it's got more power, it's got whatever else. But for $1,400, you can buy a dock. And I need a dock even with my Mac Studio. So it's not like I even really saved money on that. So yeah, if you don't need portability, I'd say get a Mac Mini. If you do need portability, then any MacBook should be fine for you. All right, so is this working now? Yes, nice. Okay, look at that. So we got it to say Spanish shot. Hooray. Now what we need to do is get that to work without a generator. So the display name is here. And we want to call whatever this is going to call. It's displayname.trf with nothing in it, which is message.tr with a format, but there's no format, which calls translation server.translate message. And the message, yeah, this should be dead simple, shouldn't it? Shouldn't I just be able to call this? And then do messages, whoops, messages.displayname. All right, we'll need to change some code because this needs to be public, I think. Yeah, and then we run this and everything should be fine. Yeah, it says Spanish shot, and now we go into this and set it to English. It still says Spanish shot. Okay, that's a problem. Oh, wait, no. I know why that's happening. That would have happened even before I did this because we construct the ability with static data and it's based on whatever you're in at the time. No, it's a different problem. Okay, but I guess the way we can prove that this works is by saving, no, not even saving, just quitting and opening it again. And then it should show in English. Perfect. All right, so my conclusion is that we should have this and just have this be a .tr. Does that not work? That's it. Yeah, why don't we do this? Wait, this doesn't even help us, does it? It doesn't help us because it's an extension method. Well, oh man, such a mess. Okay, so what I would need to do is I need to call like tr messages dot display name, but then the problem is, wait. If we just go back to what I had. Yeah, so then the problem is it's gonna find this literally. Can it know how to resolve this, I wonder? Let's find out. So now I change this back to keyword and I set this to translate and I regenerate this. And now what happens? It didn't work. These are obsolete. What did it generate in this? Nothing. Did I do something wrong? Is it because it needs to be like message server dot translate? I don't even know if that's what it's called. But I guess if we search for translate, we should find it pretty quickly, huh? Translation server dot translate. Does that do anything for us? No. Is it looking for a string literal? I think it is looking for a string and literal. In which case, none of this is going to help, right? Now, if I were to go change it to a string literal wild shot, I'm guessing it'll work. But I don't want to hard code in strings like that. Wait, it didn't even work with that. Oh, because you can't. Oh, I know what I did. It's that you can't put the. Oh, I typed translation wrong anyway. Okay, I'm being a dummy. But yeah, I think it's looking for a string literal. So if this works, then yeah, so that worked. But then now we can try it with the display name like that. And I think it's gonna fail. Yeah, it failed. So yeah, it's looking for a string literal. Is there any way to get around this? Looks for strings in the first argument. Yeah, it's looking for string literals. Fall back to the string if nothing is found. Then wouldn't using string literal be fine there? I guess so. Yeah, I guess so. Like, yeah, what's the point of putting all these in one spot? Is basically what you're saying. Like, there's no reason to have this here. Because everything that we translate is going to go through the translation server anyway. And then they're all going to get collected up into a file afterward. So collecting them up in here is not doing anything for us and is inflating the files and is adding a build step. All right, that's a pretty compelling message. Where did that go? Here it is. So we just call this wild shot. So I'm going to try this one more time. Let's see. We generate this again. And then we go look in this file. It has Spanish shot there. This has wild shot. And the English one, I don't even know what's going on with this. What is going on with this? Why is it even generating this? I think I can just delete it. Oh, wait, before we delete it, how about this? Let's go find out when it was last modified, because it should not be in the last minute. Okay, that is not the last minute, so we're fine. Because, yeah, I don't want any of this to exist. There. Okay, so now what do we do to test this? We run the game again and try in English, and then run it again and try it in Spanish. Hey, Reflex, how you doing? Welcome back from my vacation. All right, so this is English. Yep. And then we change it to Spanish. Whoops. I don't know. I just clicked. But let's save and quit. And now that one thing should be in Spanish. I say it should be in Spanish. It should be called Spanish shot. Yeah, good. All right. So I think this is maybe what we should do. Now, unfortunately, it means that every call site would need to use this translation server.translate, which I don't like, when we could be doing this wildshot.tr. Yeah, so it's that code versus this code. Nope. Now, what's wrong here? Parenthesis expected. No, it's fine. All right, so what am I doing? This is going to work, but when we generate the translation files, it's not going to find this anymore. Man, it'd be so nice if we could have this work with extension methods, because then we get the best of both worlds. Yeah, so it works there, but if I try generating this again, it's going to fail. Yeah, it's gone. Okay, well, let's look that up, I guess. Wait, no, that means that this tool needs to be aware of C# extension methods. X get text C# extension methods? I'd be impressed if it knew how to do this. No. No one's ever talked about this. I'm waking up at 6 a.m. to work on every day. Oh, nice. You must be excited about it then. Yeah, I think that's good. Also, I guess daylight saving time helps with that too. So no one's talked about this custom input format. Oh yeah, this would also help us. Short answer about teaching a new language is you can't. That's a pretty bad short answer, huh? Wrote my own code that parses my specific file format and produces POT files. Oh my goodness. Why? Why? Yeah, so there's no way to do that. Well, it's not the end of the world, but it is annoying because this is so much cleaner than this. Okay, let me try something else then. So translation server is a public static partial class. Can you import a single function in C#? Port function from class? I don't know if that's a thing. I don't think it is. Static method with using. Import static members. Is this static? It is. Can you do that? That's a thing. Using static translation server dot. Whoa, what happened there? Why is having tra translation server? I don't think this is a thing. I don't know what this came up with. C# using static. Is it a thing? Global using static system.math. Global using. At global static using in project. Oh, I see. In game.cs proj. I think we had this a long time ago and we got rid of it for some reason. So this is not a thing. Type translate does not exist in the type translation server. Except for it does. So yeah, I don't know. Oh, we can, is that a thing? Using is unnecessary. Now what, I get rid of this? Oh, that's kind of nice. Okay, that's not too bad. Yeah, that's not too bad. And now we change our program so that it doesn't search for translation server, just searches for translate. All right, this is all about just ergonomics at this point. So let's write down some things that we can do here. Oh, this is just such a mess. Okay, so when it comes to finding the strings using xgetText, you have to have a string literal. Codex suggested that there's no reason to like compile all of the literals, or not really compile, I guess consolidate all of the literals in one place in code, since they're all going to go into translation files anyway. So the most straightforward way of doing this is the first thing that we had, which is translation server dot that. However, that's also the most verbose. You can get it slightly more succinct via this. Whoops. And then it turns into just translate. It would still be nicest to use the extension methods that we have. wildshot.tr. But that won't work since the string literal needs to be inside the function, or xgetText needs to be taught C# extensions. Look, I will say this. I don't want to split hairs. This is fine. We can call translate on this thing. It's okay. It works. The only question is if we ever find the word translate in a different context. So you'll never find translation server dot translate in this, oh my God, I can't type, in this code base outside of the translation context. But you could reasonably assume that there's some like 2D object and translate is actually the mathematical translation, and you have some, I don't know why you'd have a string in this function. But yeah, you might have like 4,5 or something. And this is a different kind of translation as opposed to human language translation. But I think that's very minor. So I think of these methods, I'm more inclined to use this. It does add another line to the other part of the code. And then there's another translate function that takes in the context. And there's translate plural. But aren't we going to have another problem here? Yeah, we're going to have another problem here, which is that what do we do when it comes to formatted objects? And what is this? Returns translation instance that best matches the locale. I don't know what a translation is. Resources that can be, oh, that's fine. Okay, I think I know what that is. Okay, so all we need is the translate function and translate plural. And I just need to figure out what context is. Godot translate server. Pseudo localization enabled. Hello, I did not know this was a thing. Enables the use of pseudo localization. What? What? Okay, I didn't know this was just a Boolean you could turn on. Okay, now I really want to try that. So let's go into main and just go do this somewhere. Translation server dot pseudo localization equals true. Wow, I'd be impressed. I'd be very impressed because I thought this was worth doing if it was fast. And wow, yep, look at that. You can't be any faster than that. So this works. You can actually already kind of see some problems here. Like this is outside of the boundaries of this. And presumably it's falling back to, yeah, there's like weird stuff going on here. Wow, I did not know this was a thing. Oh, that's, oh, interesting. You can't pseudo localize BB code because it breaks the formatting. Well, but that's, wow, interesting. I didn't know about this. Wow, crazy. Crazy. Okay, let's put a link to this. I'll just say Godot has pseudo localization built in. It doesn't really seem to change the string length too much though. Like here you can see it added some brackets around it, but otherwise it's the same text. Save changes, new game. What? How did something break? Object reference not set. Does the translation not work? Input string was not in a correct format. Expected an ASCII digit. Oh. Update perk points label. I wonder if our pseudo localization doesn't work with this. Update perk points label. It just tries setting text and it can't do that. Because of where we're calling this. New challenge run screen. Init 65 must have a localized string in here somewhere. Yep, here it is. So this fails because we're local. Oh my God. Oh my God. All right, this hurts. The string amount is presumably getting pseudo localized. Which is like super breaking this. Let's go find out if that's the case. So this function, how do we do this? 5? It's gonna fail. Yeah, it's gonna fail because it's gonna try doing messages dot perk points. Huh, that's not wrong. Oh, because it doesn't go through the TRF thing yet. TRF is gonna break this, so we need to go into this function. Yeah, that. Perk points is fine. TRF is gonna break it, right? And then amount isn't gonna exist anymore. I think that's what's going on here. So now message is already wrong. No, wait, message.tr is wrong. And then format. Yep, there it is. Yep. So amount gets, okay. Yeah. Okay, so we can't easily use this. Not with our generated code, at least. Oh, this is a mess. This is a mess. The only problem is that with our generated methods, pseudo localization will break because it changes the format string. It also pseudo localizes every single letter, and we don't have all of those letters in our font, and we don't want them all in our font if we're not going to actually need them. All right, well, back out of this. I don't care about any of this. Remove all the breakpoints. All right, where do we leave off? I am learning a lot. A lot. So I don't want to write my own xget text tool. So I think I'm fine with this. And we would actually delete all of these from everywhere. So I should prove that this works on parameterized things, like the description. Erratically shoots at a single enemy for blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's go find this. Get description. Okay, so we're going to do it this way now. We're going to return translate. And then we need... I don't understand what context is. Oh, that's what I went to this page to try to find out. Returns the current locale's translation for given message and context. Message always uses the main translation domain. Context? What is the context? Huh. Probably we find it through here. If you're using plain English as source strings, you may run into ambiguities. I see. Oh God. But then we need those in our .pot file. Oh God. Does it know how to do that? Like if I just get rid of this and I go up to here and I type something like abilities, which I don't like, and then I run this, does it put it in its context for us? It does not. Huh. What do we do? Oh, context arg. Whoa, 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 whoa. What do we do here then? Keyword spec is a form this or that. Treats strings in context arg num the argument as a context specifier. Yeah, that's what I want. Well, how can you reverse these? How would it possibly know what this is supposed to mean? If it's in ID context arg or arg context, they're both numbers. How could it know which one represents which? Huh. Oh, the C is actually, oh, okay, interesting. Thank you, ABC. Yeah. So we go to our program here and we do keyword spec is a form ID colon. So we need colon. And the first thing is going to be the name. Is it 1 index or 0 index? I'll try what you have here, 2C. And then try running that. And does that work? It did work. Okay, let's give out some points here. I'm going to give one to Codex for earlier and one to ABC. Oh, man. All right, very interesting. So this is what it will show for translators as well to let them know it's an ability, although this would already have let them know this. I wonder what happens if we have the same string multiple times. It wouldn't know that they're different strings. That's where context comes in. So if I had called this, it's not going to find two strings, right? Where did that go? I have too many files open. Found it there. But what if I type it on another line, like down here? Doesn't matter if it's valid C# or not, I'm pretty sure. Well, it doesn't try building at least. Might still try parsing it into an abstract syntax tree. Line 43. So what, it finds the lowest use of it? Yeah, it found it here. It did not necessarily find it here. Oh, I guess that line number is not really helpful for translators. Okie dokie. We should probably write this down. Message context. So it says lets you add context. Not really. I mean, I guess it kind of does. You would typically do this in combination with xget text keyword argument or directive, I guess. Oh my God. This says that the first argument is the, what do they call it? What do they call it? Where's the translate function? The message name, I guess. Okay, the message name. And the second one is the context name. So if you have this in C#, it'll turn into this pop file. Yeah. Hi again, cat. Okay, we should probably write this down here in message context. Hi, you want to sit down? Do you want to sit down directly in front of my mouse because you know that's where my hands go? All right, fine, cat. Cat. Come on. Come on. Hey. She doesn't care. Hand cam is kitty cam now. Entire mouse is cat's domain. Also, how's it going, Luna? Will you move so I can code again? Will you let me code? Yeah, you're a good cat. But I need to work. She's just licking her paw now. Welcome back to streamering. How's it been? It's been going pretty well. Both the vacation and the return to streaming. I like it when I have I shouldn't say a problem. I like it when I have a goal for the day. And today's goal started with a problem statement, which is figure out localization. And I've learned so much today. I don't think the streams were really like that entertaining, but man, I've learned a ton. I'm trying to figure out how we're supposed to architect this and like get everything working. And yeah, it's pretty interesting, at least for me. If I could get access to my keyboard over here. So to kind of cover this at a very high level, here's how this stuff works. So we have a template file, and this has a name of an ability, wild shot, and it has for context that it's an ability. And then that's it. Since it's a template, it does not fill in a string for what this thing is supposed to be. So then what you would do is you'd come into here. So this is the Spanish implementation of this template. And it says, oh, wild shot. This is what it is in Spanish. I don't know the Spanish for it, so I'm just calling it Spanish shot. So that's it. Localizing by just translating is really just having a string ID and then what it is in a particular language. So this is our Spanish file. So that's our Spanish string. And then the way that we know how to use this through code is because Godot has a bunch of stuff set up to use this already. So now when it comes to using this, we just call into our translate function and say, oh yeah, get that ability, wild shot. So at a high level, all this is very straightforward. And if you had a human who speaks Spanish and a human who speaks French and a human who speaks German and so on and so forth, you'd be able to make all these files very simply. But I do not have those people on deck. So I'm going to try to use AI for this. And what I need to do is have a workflow that will let me say, this has been machine translated. And then if we determine that this is actually like a stupid translation, we could change this to something else and then say, oh, now it's been human translated. So don't have a machine override this if this were ever to change in the future. So yeah, there is quite a lot going on here. And what I'm trying to do is I think we're going to gut some code from the code base. Finding trustworthy people would be my nightmare. I think it's a very tough problem to solve because if you don't speak a language, okay, if you don't speak a language, then you can't verify that whatever that person made sounds good. You want to start burning? What are you doing? She's a little messed up right now due to time. So in her mind, it is more like 4 p.m. right now and not 2:45. Well, it's like 3:45 for her. Oh, you okay? She starts getting a little meowy about half an hour before she's supposed to get fed. Had some drama because the Chinese translation was two people just trolling. Yeah, I heard about that. And the Chinese reviews haven't fully recovered. They're still at mixed right now. You want to come over? Come on, come sit down. Come. Come on, Abby. You don't need to sit directly on my keyboard. Come over. Cat. Fine, whatever. She's facing the computer. I wonder if she thinks she's blocking my view. So we can format these without a source generator, but I need to now test what do we do about pluralized or what do you do about pluralized strings or strings with context? I think we just, it turns out translate only has the context feature here. And there's also a translate plural, right? Yeah. String plural message. N is an integer. And then context name. Yeah, so I guess we have to call into this. Is your paw on the keyboard? No. I think we just call into translate with the correct string formatted from C# already. I saw in a video that some localization can be difficult because sentences and phrases can be much longer. Yeah. Yeah, there are a lot of like standard translation problems or localization problems that exist, and they're very hard for one person to solve. Like, do you know what imagery is not acceptable in certain cultures or languages? Do you know what words to use? And then, yeah, what about text that doesn't fit? I mean, the text that doesn't fit, one person can solve. All right, let's go back to Wild Shot for a second. So I want to fix this up now. This is get description with damage and with mischance in here. So I don't know how we would do this. Like we could change this to a dollar sign. This is going to mess everything up, by the way. Well, I guess let's duplicate this for now. And then this goes into here. And there's no way to know what these things are called. Okay, I'm starting to realize what the issues are. So this would presumably work, but it's not obvious what these things represent. And it's probably going to mess up our file over here. Let's see what happens. If it even generates. What? Oh, because it's on another line? I'm a little bit confused as to how we would get that to work then. Oh, maybe it's because I didn't put a context in. Maybe I need to say abilities. The cat is just licking my hand. I guess you can't tell because she keeps licking whatever is just off camera. Is this working yet? Just move this over here. No, it's not working. Shouldn't you just use string.format for those cases and only translate the initial string? They have 2 lines here? Oh, I didn't notice that. Or $sign at the start. Only translate the initial string. Oh, I think I see what you're saying. Yeah, so we'd keep this how it is like that and do string. Oh no, but string.format won't work because it's got to be a string literal, right? Okay, well, let's say we just did this. It's gonna break. I think we're gonna hit a problem here pretty much no matter what. So it's still not finding this string, although possibly it's because I don't have the context in here and maybe need that to exist. Yeah, it was that. The first argument is a string literal, which you translate. And then we plug in the numbers. Okay, I think I see what you're saying. So this works. And what we're saying is string dot format, the translated string. Wait, what am I doing here? There's the tr function. Oh my God. My brain is failing. If we just search for tr like this, we find it. Yeah, it's a lowercase string. Okay. There we go. All right, so translate this and then put a comma and then get this stuff. Best overload does not have a parameter named damage. How does format work? Format object. Oh, it's not gonna know. Oh, darn it. Oh, God. Yeah, I don't know how you do this. Let's look up C# string format named parameters or named placeholders. How do you do that? What? What is this? What even is this? It's like a custom object for this? Well, but the 0 and 1 is going to be super confusing for localization because they might be in different orders. So I think we're just going to use named ones. And there's apparently a way to do this. If we do something like this, name damage equals mischance equals. That's a thing. So this works. Okay, let's try this because I don't believe this. Wow, it did work. And does it work in the game? Oh my goodness, if this actually works, that'd be great. Oh wait, I should make a Spanish translation or else there's no way we could test this. Look at this cat. What a good cat. Oh yeah, this is all gonna fail. I gotta turn off pseudo localization. Pseudo. There. I still didn't make the Spanish translation, but I want to make sure that this loads. Am I in Spanish or English right now? I'm in English. Okay. So I go over to here. We should see this thing show the same way it did. Shoot an enemy for, oh, why does it say split shot? Uh-oh, input string was not in a correct format. Uh-oh. Have you tried PO edit? I don't think so. I think we might have written about this a while ago, though. Also, welcome to the stream. PO edit. No, I don't think I've used that. There's something that they talked about somewhere. Hey, Antimatter Tape, I was just thinking about you recently. I don't know any chatters' names. You probably recognize Toulouse, although I'm not sure if you'd recognize anyone else in chat. Basically a GUI for these translations. Yeah, I'm not too concerned about the GUI part yet. Like, I'm still just trying to figure out how do we even generate these files and use this correctly. And I'm messing this up. Wild shot line 76 is this, yeah. So what am I doing wrong? Let's try this in just C# playground. Abby, no, no scratching. No, no scratching. Take your paws off that. Abby. Abby, oh, come on. Hey, you have a scratch pad right here. Scratch this. Hang on one sec. I'll be back to the stream in a second. The cat is being a naughty cat. She has a scratch pad right next to the chair, and she's like, I'll kill the chair, though. I'll show you. Okay, there she goes. Got me reminiscing. So when you worked as a WordPress dev? Oh, man. All right, let's go to this, and then let's try. So how are we going to do this? String test equals string dot format. Damage. Oh, wait a sec. Isn't this going to be a problem? Yeah, because no. Huh. I think I heard a few years ago it wasn't as good as GDScript, but is that true now? I think GDScript is still probably slightly better in terms of support. Like you can't do a web export with C# right now. And maybe there's like one other thing. Oh yeah, hot reloading is a lot easier with GDScript. But otherwise, I think C# is very usable. I'm struggling with this right now, but I don't know what I'm doing wrong exactly. So it's something like this, and then we do new and damage equals 5. And then I guess print out test. Run. Input string was not in the correct format. Yeah, so I don't know what I'm doing here. But that's clearly not how it works. So C# string format named parameters or named placeholders. This We coded this? Huh. Yeah, I guess we coded this. Yeah, I didn't realize that. Create a string formatter, then string.add. But the string formatter is a custom class. It's not something that exists by default. But let's take a look at our localized generator. What is this doing? Emitter and parser. TRFN. TRF. Parameters list. Oh boy. Yeah, oh boy. God, there's so much that's going on here that we might just fully delete, although I'm not sure yet. I definitely want named parameters. The named parameters are really helpful for translating and maintaining order. We could just use numbered parameters. And I mean, it should be dead simple, right? We set this to 0, and then we just set this equal to 5, and we click run. Yeah. But the problem with that is that if you need to know what the English string is. How would I guess here's an example. Like the date is this. And you might say something like it is, what's the date today? 11/3. That doesn't work. I guess it kind of works. Anyway, let's say you do something like this. All right, so it says the date is 11/3. This is the American format where we say month, day. But if you translate this, you'd have to change this string to be the date is 10. Right? Yeah, right? Yeah. Is it needed directly with the translation? I think this would I think this would be weird. Plus, if you ever modify how many numbers are there, there's no catch for that. Like if you change this to just be like the date is, and you just have a single thing that says the day or something like that, or it's formatted for you as a single string, and then you run into problems. But yeah, we coded this ourselves, and there's no way around this. Where's our tr function? Format properties, where's that? Oh, okay. There we go. Format a string according to name placeholders found in it. Okay, so we can just use that, can't we? I want to say that we can. Format. And then we pass in these things. And delete that. Best overload for format does not have a parameter name damage. Oh, I can't press F12 on this. Does translate not return a string? Returns a string name? Oh my god. Oh, that's not good. All right, well, suffice it to say I'm botching everything. And this format's not even in the right file. What am I doing? Oh man. It could be that date formatting is supported already. Keep in mind, I have no idea of your stack or this language. This is C#, but that was just an example of an obvious case. There could be another case where I don't know an example of this off the top of my head, so I'm going to contrive something. But you say something like agility is 6, leading to like a crit chance of 12%. And in some other language, you say like crit chance is 12%, and you say in parentheses like agility is 6. So now you change the order of these, and there's no way that a built-in C# thing could do this for you. You just have to know that, oh, you put the second parameter first in this language. Now again, this is not a compelling example. I don't know what this would actually be for, but the date was an example where C# would handle it for you with localization stuff. Okay, so this has to return a string. Otherwise, we couldn't have called translate on this. And yet I'm messing the rest of this up. Don't we have a tr function? We do. And isn't that where... All right, I'm going to reload this. With you on why you want to do... Oh, yeah, I see. It's just the how do you accomplish it part. Yeah. Yeah. But I got to figure this thing out. Like, how could we use our named things that we have here and still catch this and everything else that we wanted? We have public static string format. It takes in a message and then a bunch of properties, which is a string and an object, and then a provider, which we don't need in this case. So we can call this and we can call format, but it's finding a different format. I guess because we need it to resemble... I don't understand how this would have worked. Oh, maybe because we would generate something that would... Yeah, we generate a specific function. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, I think that's what's going on. Yes, it takes in 2 objects and then calls trf with this, which is enumerable. Okay. We're going to get this. We're going to do this. It's going to be very ugly. So this goes here. And this goes here. And then we delete that and that. Now, what's the problem? String name does not contain a definition for format. We're supposed to be able to return a string from this. I mean, I guess we could cast this. All right, I don't know. Let's just try this. I'm botching everything. Did it break as soon as I started this? No, it didn't. Wow, look at that. Actually worked. Okay, the thing is we don't have a Spanish translation of this, so I'm gonna just hard code something. Spanishly shoots at a single enemy, but has a chance to miss. There, great. Let's try that. All right, so now we switch into Espanol and then save. And I don't think this is gonna work. I think we need to restart the whole thing because it would have already constructed this. Yeah. But we can quit and then we can reload it. And it should say the new thing. All right, take care, Selmo. And thanks for dropping in. Hope to see you again sometime. It's not working. What's going wrong? Oh, what is going wrong? Message ID is blank. What? Why would that happen? Message ID is blank here too. Oh no, the message ID is this whole thing. Oh, I modified the wrong. Oops, I see. Yeah, I'm dumb. That was something very minor. Okay, so what we had to do is this should still say this, and then this needs to be pasted down here. And now it'll work. Yes. Yeah, good. Okay, so this is... Wait, it still says wild shot. Didn't it say Spanish shot? Did I undo that? No. What? What am I missing here? It says fuzzy. Do I need to delete the fuzzy? I think I do. Really? It doesn't work if you keep fuzzy there? Huh. Yeah, now it works. Wow. Okay, well, we definitely need to warn about that. Yeah. Yeah, I have it written down already. We haven't done it yet. Okay, so that was Spanish. It's working. Now we go back to English. And we have to quit, unfortunately, because we don't dynamically change the display name and everything. Actually, I think the complexity is roughly the same. I'm trying to do something very specific here. Like we had a localization system, like a framework sort of set in place. Yeah, nice, this is working. And I'm trying to undo some of it. This is ergonomically stupid the way that I'm doing this though right now. Like this is an incredibly ugly line of code. And I'd love to make this better. And I wonder how we can do that. I guess we just make a function that wraps all of this stuff. It's got to still call translate though. And why do we need the string here? I guess because this thing doesn't know about string name, but format could be changed. Where's format? Oh, I gotta find it. There it is. All right, so this, we could just copy paste the whole thing and have it taken a string name. It's a Godot thing. And what? It's got a way of turning into a string. Disposes. How does it just get converted into a string? How is it even possible? Static implicit operator string. Wow. Probably has implicit conversion. Yeah. So then how do I use the implicit conversion to call a function that... Yeah, maybe I just don't. Maybe I just do this and I say return string dot format that. Couldn't I even say just message here? So I guess it doesn't complain when you do that. And now going back to our wild shot thing, this should work. This is marginally better, but there's, I guess this is why we have the source code generator. We could still have maybe the source code generator for this. I don't know. I still need to wrap my head around this. Yeah, this, oh no, that's not working. I broke something. Input string was not in the correct format. How did I mess this up? How did I mess this up? Did I? Strange. I don't know what I did wrong. I actually need pass or return a thing. Oh man. What are we breaking? Oh man, Kevin, this is crazy. I'll show you in just a sec, but let me take a look at this. I'm still not certain why this is broken though. It worked when I had this wrapped in a string like this, but it doesn't work when I call the function with a string name. I don't understand why. Yeah, this works. But if I change just this, instead of returning a string like that, and I just call format directly, it doesn't work anymore. I wonder what happens if I explicitly cast this here. Does that fix it? Because if so, this is absolutely bizarre. And yeah, I don't think I would understand this. No, it doesn't work now. Input string was not in a correct format. Oh, strange. Hey, Kavino, how you doing? Welcome in, welcome in. Hey, Sammy. Hey, Brainoid again. And hi, Kavino. I've been on vacation for a while, so now I'm finally back, and we're trying to figure out some things with localization. While I am at it, let me explain, Kevin, what was going on here. Hey, Frostcore. So we use xgetText to extract strings from the source code into a .pot file, which is a portable object template. So what that looks like is something like this. We have a context saying that this is an ability. The ID is wildshot. And the string is nothing in this case because this is English. So it's just going to use the same thing we have here, wildshot. So this works. And then we generate a Spanish file from this. And I can put in whatever the Spanish should be, which I don't know what the Spanish should be. So I'm just calling it Spanish shot for right now. So this is fine. The way we used to do this, though, and this is what's important for Kevin, is that we used to call extract all here. And what extract all would do is it would generate, it would just pull every single string from every single file. So like this color from HTML, this should not be localized. This is red, green, blue. It's not a string like C7, whatever, and it needs to change to a different language. But yeah, we would still find this. We'd still find this. This doesn't need to be localized either. So I'm trying to make it just find the strings we actually want to localize. And the only way for xgetText to do this is for it to be in the form function name and then string literal here. It can't even be like this. So this works. This doesn't work where it's string variable. So this would fail. So we need to change a whole bunch of code that we had to find these correctly, or just ignore all the other strings that show up when you extract all. Where I've been, so I went to Boston and then to a secret location. But it was pretty cool visiting Boston. I've never really explored the city. We went to the Boston Public Library, which was just so impressive to me. It's such a historical looking building. Yeah, like I took a picture almost exactly like this one, and there were probably just as many people in the picture I took as there are here. Like, imagine if your local library looked like this, and this is just where you went to read a book. I think that'd be amazing. That's where I live. I didn't know that's where you live. If I had known, I would have told you, but I don't announce where I'm going ahead of time. And we're probably not going back to Boston forever. Oh man, what is this? What engine? This is Skeleseller, and the engine is Godot, and we're using C# for it. String format will not work with something in string because it tries to parse it as format. You need to escape it or change it first. I'm not sure I even understand that, but I'm not really. Yeah, I'm not sure I understand. I'll write it down. If you had a comment above the line of a string, it will extract that comment to the POT file. So potentially that's a way to distinguish. But yeah, this is a hard problem. Yeah, I think I'm going to end up deleting the source generators because I don't think they're providing much for us actually, other than if I can figure out the ergonomics of this, then yeah, I think the source generators are not helping too much. Let me write this down somewhere. Need to improve the ergonomics. And my R key is typing so many times. It's double and triple typing. Of formatted strings. Yeah, I'll copy down what she said. I want to learn C# if that's easier than GDScript. I think GDScript is probably easier. My heart shattered. Like I said, if I'd known, Cavino, I would have reached out to you. We were staying in Cambridge for the first little, actually for I guess the whole thing. But we went and visited Harvard. We have a friend who's going to Harvard right now. And then we went to Boston the next day. And then we left for Cape Cod the day after. Cape Cod was beautiful, by the way. All the fall colors are great. So yeah, so I think we're gonna change to this style of calling translate. The thing I don't like is having the context needed for this, but I guess we would have needed that anyway, right? I wonder how this was working before. Did we just never run into this? Wouldn't display name have been taken everywhere? The problem is I don't have a file from before. Oh, we never generated one, so we never had this as a problem, but we would have run into it as a problem. It would have tried, actually, I'm not sure what it would have tried doing. I think it prefixes with the path. Yeah, I think we did that. So if you want to help me, maybe help with what? I don't mind answering some questions here and there, but I'm not into like tutoring or something if that's what you mean. Getting the name placeholders is nice. We can probably parse them at runtime instead of pre-compile it. Let me think about this. Yeah, I got to think of how we're going to have safety with these parameters. Also need to think of how we'll have safety with the parameter names and maybe quantities. When we compiled it as a source generator, we would check that stuff. If you want to change it after format. Okay, again, I'll just write that down. Lurk, gonna grab some dinner? Okay, yeah. We have a good dinner. Like I said, thanks for the raid. I'm feeling very recharged after the vacation, and I'm glad I'm tackling this problem in particular, because this is a pretty meaty problem. And I think if I can kind of prove that this works for one language, we can do it for all the languages I need. And I think probably a lot of people would be interested in this as a solution. Imagine if Godot just had this by default. It's like plug in an Azure key and it'll just translate your whole game for you automatically. That'd be kind of crazy. Where'd that comment about ergonomics go? Here it is. Yeah. Yeah, thank you, ABC. Oh. Let me delete that. Do I know about the Nintendo Wii? Okay, now I think you're trolling me. Or you're very, very young. So, I don't know which it is. But yes, I know about the Nintendo Wii. Excuse me, have you heard of Sega Genesis? No, I've never heard of that. What is that? Ah, it's got Sonic the Hedgehog on it. So do we lose anything else in doing this? I guess it's really just the ergonomics of this stuff. Is the new vacation info public? Oh yeah, I already talked about it. Well, Boston and then Cape Cod and then mystery location. That I won't be revealing, but the first two I have revealed. Yeah, we were going to a friend's wedding and he had it in Cape Cod, and Cape Cod you can't fly into, I guess. The closest airport is in Boston. Yeah, we went to Boston. Interesting location, this question mark. Yeah, it's in the Swiss forest, Swedish forest. What was that? Oh, I was like, this doesn't look like a Spanish word. It's not. It's the name of a person. I'm neither. They ended development years ago on it. I want to be the first to bring back the Wii by making new games for it. Brand new full games to the Wii. You want to use Godot for that? I don't know what people developed in for the Wii, but I'd probably try to mimic as close to that environment as they had. Yeah. Much needed reset. Yeah, I was working pretty hard leading up to all of this stuff. I've got to say though, there are some things that are worrying me a little bit about Skeleseller. We made bone mode, and it's not like it just took off or something, and it's not like a bunch of people are downloading the demo. And I've stopped marketing, but I'm still kind of confused if there's a problem with the game itself. Like, people seem to have fun, but then they don't play it again, which I think is the ultimate, like, oh, if you had fun, you would play it again. And I know there are some reasons for why some people wouldn't play it again. Some people already tested it a lot and wouldn't be playing it again. But some people said it was fun and then stopped playing. And yeah, that worries me a little. By the way, the reason I'm kind of dragging my feet right now is it's 3:20. The cat is asleep on my arm right now, so I can't really like move the mouse. You can see a little bit of her floof right here at the bottom of the camera. I've only recently been able to get myself into Factorio after owning it for years. Well, so on a macro scale, Factorio is wildly successful. And the Skeleseller demo has been very successful. But then Bone Mode is the thing that I added on just for playtesters. And I've only given out maybe like 70 keys. So the most people who could be playing it is 70. It's impossible for more people to be playing it. So I'm not expecting it to be like 50 people or something, but it's generally been like 0. I say approximately 0 because here and there like a person has played. Hey, Revrox. Not super easy landscape in terms of competition. Yeah, I'm going to get back to marketing it. But like I said, it's mostly about this mode that I'm thinking of and the people I gave this out to. Yeah. Anyway, I will try that again. And who knows, maybe the game does fine when it comes out. Some relatively minor detail that was added late into the cycle. Yeah. Hey, Lagwin, if you tried adding AI to it. I mean, we are going to be adding AI in the form of these translations. Cat, okay, please move for just a bit. Please. Okay, good. Good, Cat. She doesn't want to sit next to me anymore. She just wants to sit on me. Been holding out for the higher difficulties. No, and I recognize there are definitely reasons why someone might be holding out and they might want to play it eventually. Also, even when all of Bone Mode is considered, it's probably only going to add something like maybe 5 to 10 hours more. And after that, people probably won't feel much of a need to keep playing. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. But I don't know if consumers are okay with that. Abby, seriously. Is the API for plural messages? Have we used any plural messages in our thing already? Yeah. Make sure we looked into plural messages. We have some of these already. Oh, you're such a good cat. You're such a good cat. She just came right back to exactly where she was sitting. She's in exactly. She's got her head on my arm again. Wow. Search for a plural message. I guess I can see if TRN is called. Maybe I can't, because I don't know if it's checking generated code. I also don't know if VS Code already broke. Oh, wait, this shouldn't be too bad. We can just put 2 of these next to each other. I also want to figure out what I'm doing for formatting, though. Search for plural message. And if we aren't using source generators anymore, we should delete them and add their code to deleted code.md. Oh man, this is going to be a massive undertaking. Just to prove this stuff out, I think we can probably get it done in a week, but then to actually like finish everything is probably going to take a while. Anyway, I do want to look into the ergonomics of this thing, and I'm still not totally sure what I was doing wrong here or how I want this to look. I guess let's start with how do I want this to look? So we need there to be a message here. This is something I find rather unfortunate, that this has to be a string literal. It can't even be a variable. It's too bad. But yeah, anyway, what I'd like to do is return translate. Yeah, this part's fine. In fact, we don't need context for that. And then a dot format. And I'd love to somehow pass in, like, can we do new damage equals that, mischance equals that? That would probably be best. I'm not actually sure if that's best. And I still don't really like how this works. One idea is to put all the strings in one file or module, then get text only that module. You could keep the source generator this way. Yeah, I'll write this down too. Put all strings in just one module. The thing is, I'm not certain we gain, well, I don't know. I'm still not totally sure what the source generators are doing for us. Because on one hand, like, okay, if I were to say what I think it's doing, it's like it consolidates strings for a given class in one spot. And then it makes formatting them simple enough. And I don't think this is necessarily a positive. I mean, I don't think it's a negative either. I think it's just kind of like it's this face. And then this is a positive. But then it adds a bunch of like syntax corrupt. So imports a partial class. What else? Like a partial modifier on the parent class, a new private class. Definitely feels good to check in on Skeleseller every now and then, see how much progress you made. Do you suck with it? Yeah, it's been quite a trip. And things have been getting better and better. I can't use my mouse. The cat. Ow, it hurts. Okay. Yeah, the thing I've been mostly working on has been this mode. I spent quite a lot of time on this. In this mode, a lot of the choices you get are randomized, and then it's roguelite, and that you get some progress that carries over between different matches that you do. So like if I start let's say the farming scenario, we start with the farm practically maxed out. And when we come to getting new perks, because of this mode, we are presented with 3 different perks, and we have to pick the one that fits best or reroll. So typical roguelike stuff. But it's nice to have that in Skeleseller and see how much it changes the game. It actually works pretty well, I'd say. And there's been a lot of time spent balancing this and making it fun. Precompiling the named parameters is the biggest win. Okay, yeah. Named parameters is the best advantage. Not sure if you know you can override toString on any class. So if you type your messages, you can format their outputs. I don't think that's exactly what we need for this. I need to come up with something for this that allows us to parameterize a translated message. So like in this case, we have English typed out, but you can imagine this message being French or Korean. And either way, the French and Korean messages still need damage and mischance to be in here somewhere. They might put them in different spots. They might reverse the order. And I think having this name is very clear. But what we could have done, and it'd be dead simple, we could just call this 0 and call this 1, and everything would be fine. It'd be very easy. And then when we call format, we just have it, change how this works. Can you add a resx file for all the strings and use that through resource manager? Yeah, we can. I'm not actually sure. I'm not sure we should. If we did that, we need a way of referring to those strings. Actually, I guess that's kind of a problem we have here too, which is that if we have to use string literals, then what happens when we need the same string in multiple locations? Yeah, like this. I guess we just save a reference to the already translated message or something like that. Oh man. Okay. Look for, and this should not be a string. Cat. It's so painful to use my mouse. I can't move my arm. So I'm just like rotating my wrist in a really harmful position. All right, look for dot messages dot to see where we reuse a particular message. I think we can still do this by saving a static reference to, wait, no, it had to be a static, having a static property that calls translate each time and gets the specific string. That way you can change languages at runtime. Yeah. All right, well, I've learned a ton today. Yeah. Started working on the localization plan. Spent a lot of time learning xget text, and what else did we do? Well, Katzel got up. What else? Yeah, that's pretty much xget text. What else did we do? Researched costs, AI capabilities, platforms for using AI, etc. I'm gonna get text too. Yeah, I think I'm gonna call it pretty soon. I'm just gonna chat for a little bit. But yeah, what a day. I'm happy with how today went, even though we're not really super close to having a solution here. Because I've got all the pieces of it. Why not build your own class? Replacing something should be simple, and then you can just return the result after parsing the text. I probably can. My brain is kaput. I should have been taking more breaks today. So, I mean, I'll write this down here too. I've done a lot of learning today, and I think there's only so much of that I can handle and then be like, okay, time to implement stuff. Learn that it's 12 cents per word and I'm in the wrong line of business. Yeah, I need to be translating stuff. 12 cents per word, that's a lot. Yeah, so the general plan for those who didn't hear, I'm going to sign up for Azure. Azure has a translation service that lets you translate, I forgot how much it was, like 2 million characters per month for free. I don't even know where I wrote this down. Yeah, here it is, 2 million characters per month for free. And then if that's not enough, GCP also has another 500,000 for free. And if that's not enough, it's per month. So you could just wait another month and you'll get another 2.5 million characters. So I want to try these out and see how good of a job they do. They also both have training. So I could maybe give it all the English strings and be like, hey, that's what it's supposed to be like in English. Figure out what it's supposed to be in Spanish now. And maybe it knows. Maybe it doesn't know. I have no idea how well this is going to work. But yeah, we got a bunch of tooling. I've got some ideas. I know how we're going to kind of piece this stuff together. We just haven't done any of it yet. Do you know any of these languages? No, not really. Not enough to translate a game, that's for sure. But welcome in Stochastic Burp. Also, hey, Laxton. And hey, David. How do you validate the results? Yeah, so I've got some general ideas of how I'm going to do it. But okay, so that's the first part, right? Is like AI, use these cloud platforms, figure it out. And then probably some community-driven editing of the translations. Hey, Spherophoria. Thank you for the raid. I was on vacation the last couple weeks. So I have not been around. But how has it been on Twitch? What if they train on Skeleseller's comprehensive lore, though? That's true. I don't know if they train on your data on Azure and GCP. With that said, I don't really care if they do or not for Skeleseller. for the text at least, I should say. If it's a huge success, you'll need to hire some human translators to truly localize instead of just translate it. Yeah, I think so. But I think that's like, if you think about just kind of cost and risk, it's like, I don't want to spend a bunch of time or money right now because I don't know if the game's going to do well. And risk is kind of just like what happened with Silk Song. Would I put off a bunch of people for what is essentially the first game? It's not really. I mean, nobody remembers Botland though on the general Steam community. So yeah, that's kind of why I'm pursuing things the way I'm trying to pursue them. This exists, smart format. What does this do? It's strange that they don't have code examples here. Is there a way to see how many people downloaded this sort of thing? Huh. I mean, I'll write it down, but do they have online documentation or something? Oh, there's a wiki. Ah, here we go. Here's some example. Okay, yeah, this is pretty interesting. All right, I'll write this down too. Where did my note go? There's so much I need to do. Could look into this smart format. All right, been in and out too. So much Arc Raiders. I've been playing the finals, but I didn't try Arc Raiders. And I don't think I'm going to try it, to be honest. I know they had that server slam thing, and I didn't participate on that weekend because my friend said, oh, I probably won't like the game because it's slower than the finals. I want fast-paced action. Blot out the real-life noise. Some of the simple local hosted AI models seem to be doing a half-decent translation job. Yeah, I haven't been able to try Azure yet for this because I need to sign up again. And I just haven't done that because I was streaming all day. Crowdsourced translations are a good model. Yeah, so I want to try something like that. Like you press a button in the game and you can see a string code at the beginning of a message somewhere, maybe. I'm not totally sure how I'm going to do this stuff. And then maybe collect up people's suggestions for translations. Got no idea how to check it. Yeah, I think you need to find someone who speaks it. I think the only real way is with actual humans. Now, alternatively, your app could have some like provide feedback mechanism. Abby, stop scratching this. Default requires 0. Yeah, I need to look into that at some point. Yeah, well, like I said, I think that's going to be it for today's stream. Sorry, Sphere, for you. I feel like I'm a very bad raid target. But yeah, it's been good. We're going to pick up where we left off tomorrow. So hopefully I come back with a fresh brain and I can actually think about this stuff. I think it's been hard now just because I've been doing so much today. So let's go pass on all of you raiders to somebody else. Who shall it be? Also, Abby will not stop meowing. Man, every time I look through my list and I think, should I raid someone old or someone new? What is it like raiding that person? Let's raid Pheromon. Let's not think about this too much. All right. Thank you all for watching. Here are the Discord links if you want. Oh my God, I gotta clean this keyboard. And then here's the game if you want to play the Skeleseller demo. It's got about 2 hours of content. I'll be back tomorrow morning. It'll just be the morning, and I will see you all later. Let's say hi to Pheromon together. Bye, everyone.